is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
Ultimately, winning football is winning football. That's been really consistent.
Wants to run. Yes, here he goes down. Mateo Uyangalele.
Group playing with hunger. They're in the mindset that I got to go take this. I want to get on the field. I want to play.
Sadiq inside of the 5. Hurdles his way into the end zone. Was it caught? It was. Touchdown. Evan Stewart.
It's really incredible how they work. They don't blame. They don't complain. They just come up here every single day and work their tails off.
Up the middle. Buster 5, 3, 2. Lowers his head into the end zone.
I'm just ready to attack it and figure out what we're really great at, what we got to improve at. That's the fun part for me, is what problems do we get to solve.
This is the Oregon Football Coaches Show on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by Toyota. Let's go places. Today's broadcast is also brought to you by Country Financial Insurance, protect what matters, and by Pepsi and Bigfoot Beverages. Go Ducks! Drink Pepsi. Now let's go to the Country Financial Studios and talk Oregon Duck football.
Thank you and welcome in. It is just after 7 o'clock all on the West Coast in Eugene, Oregon. That means it's the Toyota Coaches Show here in our Country Financial Studios. Join us. Good to have pre-Thanksgiving head coach Dan Lanning. We're going to have to hit you with Thanksgiving this week because we don't get you next week, Coach.
Fair.
All right, first question. I've got hard-hitting, and we'll get the answer right away from you. How's Coach doing? How you doing?
I'm doing great. Yeah, life's good.
Life's good.
Life is good.
You're getting to that point in the season where you start seeing a light at the end of the tunnel. It's not necessarily a light you want to see because you enjoy coaching and playing the games. But last week, an impressive win for your team. I don't want to go in detail on it, but what did you see? What do you like about your team now as you complete last week and get ready for the 2 final regular season games?
Well, I think you always say as a coach, you hope you're playing your best football towards the end of the season. I do feel like that was our most complete game in all 3 phases, where all 3 were really in sync and did some things really well. And yeah, the season goes fast. It's crazy how quick it goes, but we're certainly enjoying ourselves.
Played well and get that, I don't want to say day off. You get a rest day, a recovery day. What's a recovery day look like for everybody, coaches and for players?
Well, we still we got some work to do still. That's the way it works. But our players got Saturday off. Coaches, we watched a lot of film. More of it a little bit individually, and guys got to spend a little bit of time with their family that day, which is great. And we get right back into a normal routine on Sunday.
At this point in the season, it's been a long season already. You started early August, and it's just week after week of battering each other, then the games. Do you, at this point of the season, practices lighten up a little bit? Do you change the way you practice now?
There's certainly some modifications you make at this point. You might subtract something this week knowing you're going to put it back in next week or vice versa. But, yeah, there's some changes.
I was wondering about that too, because I was thinking about that.
Because you guys used to
going back, and all of a sudden the practices got shorter. And they don't necessarily get shorter. You just switch things up a little bit. Is that what you're saying?
Change some things. And this is the time of year that the sports science department comes up to me and says, "Hey, coach, what do you think about removing this? And what do you think about removing that?" And I try to do a decent job there.
At this point of the season, all teams go through this. It's next man up. Things occur, injuries happen. Yeah. What has allowed your team to continue to do what they do in a very impressive way with the next man up? How are those guys ready?
Yeah, I think the big piece we talk to our guys about all the time is don't wait for your opportunity, be ready for your opportunity. And when it comes, perform. And we've had some guys that have had to step up in moments, big moments this year, that were ready for their opportunity. They didn't wait for it. They worked and waited and worked and waited. And then when their opportunity came, they came in and executed.
Is it a combination, Coach, of the work that they've done throughout the season, along with the fact that you cross-train guys into different positions where all of a sudden maybe they're a little deeper on the depth chart and all of a sudden they're not so deep on the depth chart? Is it that combination of the training you guys have done?
Yeah, all those things add up. We've talked about strength and numbers all year, and certainly we try to make sure that we have our best 11 on the field at all times, but we have a lot of guys that can play winning football. And luckily, when you have a lot of guys that can play winning football, you can plug people in and execute at a high level.
Don't normally dig into certain guys, but I wanted to ask this. Were there guys when fall camp started that you looked at and you go, I hope this guy can get to this point, but now that you're here, are there some guys, can you name a few guys on each side of the ball that have really made huge gains that you didn't see coming when fall camp started?
Well, I won't say that, and there wouldn't be a particular player that I would name, but every year I talk to our players at the beginning of the season, like there's going to be somebody that's making an impact that you guys don't realize is going to make an impact at this point. There's somebody that's maybe working with the look team or the scout team at this point, and they're going to be playing for us later on down the road, and that certainly has occurred on our team. Now, it always plays out that way each season, and it's the guys that work really hard and take advantage of those opportunities and create roles for themselves.
Talk about the development of your running backs and some of the young running backs in particular, how they've absorbed the playbook. Do you teach them at a different pace because different people learn at different paces and that type of deal? But talk about their development because they've been a big part of the offense.
Yeah, every coach in our program is a teacher, right? It's not just a coach, and you have to figure out how each guy learns, and that's going to look different for every player. We try to throw the kitchen sink at these guys, see how much they can handle, and then you get a feel for where guys are at. And they might have a limited role at the beginning, and their role can grow over time because they're able to pick it up. And then on the same note, they might be able to just like, hey, whatever we throw at this guy, he can handle. So you try to evaluate each person differently and then evaluate what kind of impact they can have on your team.
You talk to veterans at the end of their career and say, I mean, just the exit poll, I guess you would. What did you learn, or how did we teach, or what could we do better to the young guys coming in? What didn't you get that you would like to have had?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, almost every senior walking out the door, they always say, man, I wish I would have taken this a little more serious my freshman year, or would have paid a little bit more attention to the details at that point because it goes so fast. And they recognize that, you know, you don't want to wait until your junior to say, okay, I'm going to flip the switch and turn this on. You got to turn it on the day you get here. And the guys that have done that have had a lot of success. And then there's always a guy that it's a little bit slower, and it clicks a little bit later, but they still have a lot of opportunities in front of them when they do that.
The question of the week that I've gotten all week long: what goes into the decision-making process on the coin flip? When you win and receive, do you kick? I mean, I've had that thing asked to me like 15 times this week by people.
Yeah,
What goes into it?
A lot. You focus on the history of the coach that you're playing. What's their history? So that gives you a good indicator of where they're leaning. Are they? You know, some guys defer every single week, and it's always the same. The weather is always a contributing factor. What's the weather look like in the second half compared to the first? How much of the wind is a factor, right? Because obviously if one team's picking to defer, the other team has the choice now of taking the ball, and then the next choice is what direction do you want to kick, right? So if the wind's going to be a big factor in that, knowing which direction the wind is blowing in a stadium always contributes. Just a recognition of the other team's openers and how successful they are to start a game or not start a game with success on offense can be a contributing factor, and then all that plays into field position, right? So if you feel confident that you can go get a stop early in the game, right, that might give you really advantageous field position later on, you know, to be able to play that out. And then do you want the ball at half or not, you know, and winning that middle eight, you know, one of the critical pieces of winning the middle eight is coming out at the second half and having the ball. So we weigh all of it.
There's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah,
I mean,
you weigh all of it, and part of it's how good do I feel about our openers going against the opponent, you know. So we talk about all those things and try to factor it, and then at the end of the day, you still got to get the toss right. Right? There's still a coin flip. So, it doesn't matter if we get a first or second. There's very small statistical advantage for picking defer, a very small statistical advantage of picking defer for wins, but it's almost like a coin flip. So ultimately we try to weigh all those things and figure out how can we start fast.
Another part of the game that I wonder about decision making, you got a great punter in James Ferguson Reynolds, a couple of really good kickers. You have options there, but when it comes to a decision to field goal, punt, or go for it on fourth down, you're in that middle part of the field. Analytics? What goes into decision making on those? Yeah,
again, a ton of contributing factors. Our percentage chance of converting on a fourth and not, and then the likelihood of how do you feel about the game plan. You know, all analytics are great until you say, well, the analytics aren't factoring in that your left tackle's ankle's messed up or that your starting quarterback's down, whatever that might be. So within a game, you still have to make decisions. But I know where we feel comfortable our kicker kicking a kick that he's going to make at a high percentage, right? And then there's a point where you're like, okay, is this better to have field position rather than, potentially try a kick and give the team, the ball at an advantageous spot for them. So we weigh all of it.
Now, let's say you're on special teams, so let's stay there. Malik Benson's been really good on the punt return. Yeah, and a guy who probably didn't expect to be the punt returner at the beginning of the season, all of a sudden he is.
Right.
Was he a punt returner in high school? Has he always been when he came from Florida State? I mean, he's a guy, you don't just put people back there and say, hey, catch the ball.
We train. He's done it at times in his past, but we train. Malik has gotten so many punts in practice, and it's because it's something we do at the very beginning of practice every single day when we finish flex. The first thing we do is what we call daily skill, and it's working special teams drills in our practice. So, Malik has caught hundreds of balls knowing that he might not ever be the guy that's returning a punt, and because of all that experience in practice, I think it's paid off, now for him in a game.
Experience is one thing, but when the season starts or fall starts or even in the spring, do you look at your receivers or running backs and go, that guy, and that guy, or do they have to have the mentality of, I can do that?
I don't know if I get the question.
Well,
we pick the best players, Jerry.
Not just the best players, but some guys can stand there and do that.
You're talking about punt return.
Punt return, just punt
return.
We
try to we'll have a bigger pool to start the year, and then you start to we'll keep him.
Yeah.
No,
you can see that.
Yeah, and then some guys get better at it over time, right? Yeah. So you keep training it.
I could never be a punt returner.
Courage, man. You better have courage back there.
Do that. No doubt
Concentration.
All right, we got to get a break in here and come back. It's our Toyota Coaches Show, Pepsi Coaches interview. We got to get into a little bit of Thanksgiving because we don't have them next week, so we'll come back with some food stuff. But we still got a lot more to talk about with head coach Dan Lanning. We are the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Wherever you are in life, once a duck, always a duck. That's OCCU. Since 1956, OCCU has helped the University of Oregon community take flight financially, like our remarkable checking and duck debit card that give duck fans more for the things they care about, more for the game, more for gear, more for a bright future. Earn interest, show your duck devotion, and start earning more today. Learn more at myoccu.org/getduckdebit.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Go Ducks! Go Ducks!
Touchdown, Oregon! That quick! Oh, my.
This is Oregon football from Learfield.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
We just kind of knew from the beginning that we were family.
They showcased a sense of love that I never had before. I mean, he's not only my parent, he's like my best friend.
At the end of the day, it's all been worth it. I wouldn't change a thing about our lives.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom? She started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Welcome back inside our Country Financial Studio. Jerry Allen, Jorgie, head coach Dan Lanning. It's our Toyota Coaches Show and our Pepsi Coaches interview. Coach, I mentioned we were going to get a little bit of food here. Thanksgiving's coming up really fast this year. We don't get you next week, so we need to find out what's on the menu for head coach Dan Lanning. Now, let me go first of all with the team, because I know that the team is probably going to do something.
Believe it or not, I haven't put a lot of thought into what I'm going to cook for the boys. But I imagine we'll have turkey.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm sure there'll be some ham.
Okay. All right. Well, let's talk about Dan Lanning's family for Thanksgiving.
I don't know what we're doing either, but
favorites.
I like dark meat.
Okay.
I'm a dark meat fan.
All right. Good.
And honestly, the day after on a sandwich with a little bit of the salt on that's hard to beat.
What's the biggest pile on your plate?
Biggest pile?
Yeah.
I like variety. I like variety, but mashed potatoes, green beans, big fan. Got to have some gravy in there for sure. Yeah. A nice roll that's got to be in there somewhere. I don't think there's not a lot that I don't do. Stuffing can either be great or really bad.
Yeah.
It's like hit or miss. My grandma used to make unbelievable stuffing. And then, I'll try all the pie. I like it all. I just don't like – I'm not an icing guy. I don't like whipped cream. Like, that's not my cup of tea. I like, substance.
Sweet potatoes, yams, are you the sweet potato guy?
Those. Yeah. I'll eat it. I'll eat it.
You like food.
I like food.
You like food.
I like food.
We'll go with that. So get ready for this weekend. A balanced attack. 233 rushing, 241 passing. Is that something you go into a season, look at it, go, this is what we want to be, or does that come with just your opponents and what they give you?
I think it's a combination. I think the hardest teams to defend can beat you multiple ways, right? You always go in as a defensive guy and say, okay, what are you going to take away, right? If you want to take away another team's strength, when your strength is both, that's a weapon for you. And it's also a product of some of the games we played in this year, where it's a little bit harder to throw it and we got to run to win. But we can do it all, and that's a positive.
You get excited about every game for some reason, depending on who the opponent is. What do you get excited about this weekend with USC coming to town? I mean, the history of USC and the Trojans and everything else, but is there something that really gets you fired up about this game?
Anytime you can play a great opponent, anytime you can play a great opponent, it's exciting. Obviously, it's a top 20 matchup. All those things factor in. You're excited about it, and if game day is coming here, it tells you a little bit about what the nation thinks about this game and the excitement that surrounds it. So, and this is a battle between two great West Coast teams, which makes it fun. And I'm excited to see it play out.
Well, I want to talk a little bit about some of your guys. Dante Moore, 27-30, a couple of touchdowns. Fans are raving about that, but I think I heard you mention he doesn't do what he do unless everybody does their job. Talk about the offensive line, about the receivers, what they have to do for him to be successful.
Yeah, part of what makes football so great is it takes 11, right? And there's a running back that's picking somebody up in protection. There's a wide receiver running the right route. There's a tight end that's going to catch a ball that's difficult to catch, and O-line protecting. So I've never seen a good quarterback that didn't have good people around him, and that's consistently how it works. And we're lucky to have a really good quarterback, but he also is lucky to have some great players around him.
And it showed this last week with everything it got within the zip code, frankly, was caught by the receivers, which was pretty amazing. Coach, your defense hasn't given up a lot of big plays this year. USC makes a lot of big plays. So defending the big plays, what's been kind of not the secret sauce, what have been some of the keys to you guys not giving up big plays this year?
Yeah, I think 11 guys playing the same call, being on the same page. We carry a lot of volume. We do a lot of different things on defense. I think that variety's contributed to our success. When you don't know what you're going to be in, it's hard to attack. And then our players' ability to execute that. And then winning football on defense is still really simple. Who can tackle the best, right? Who can play the ball in the air? Who can affect the quarterback and stop the run? So those are things that we've done, relatively well this year. And if we continue to do that, it'll lead to success.
Your secondary is, if not the best in the nation, highly ranked as one of the best. But it's because of the guys in front of them, and I probably don't get enough. The linebackers who can help you cover, and then the pressure the defensive line puts on. That's again, the secondary gets the headlines, but the whole defense has got to work together, much like the offense.
Yeah, it all works in sync, right? Rushing coverage, working together, and limiting opportunities for teams to be able to throw the ball when you play great coverage. And if you can do less with more up front, right, it allows you to cheat and steal some guys in the back end to cover passes.
There's more than two guys to cover on USC's offense, but there's two main ones that obviously make a lot of plays: Jacoby Lane and Lemon. Two different types of receivers.
Yeah.
How do you go about defending them in relation to how they play and some of the secrets? Because one's taller, lanky, gets a lot of jump balls. The other one's quick.
Yeah, I'm going to talk to Dana and see if we get a couple of those basketball players out there to guard, Jacoby. But it starts with awareness. Where they line up? Where are they? Our guys having an awareness of where they are and what they can do, and try to make sure that you're not leaving those guys alone by themselves with wide open lanes, because they got a quarterback that can throw it well, and Jacoby's obviously the guy that attacks it really well in the air, and Makai's Lemon is a guy that moves around quite a bit. So they are hard to stay attached to. So we'll have to be aware where they're at, and then again at times steal and do a little bit more with less, or vice versa when we play these guys.
And they're running the ball pretty well this year,
They
too.
run it really well. Yeah, they're throwing for over 300 and rushing for over 200, which is impressive.
You talk about their receivers and what they do and what you have to cover. They've got to cover your tight ends. Talking about Jamari Johnson, Kenyon Sadiq, Roger Saniapaga. I think 16 targets, 14 catches. That's tight ends. I guess my question is maybe that simple. What do you see in practice? What's made your tight ends so good this year and so more like wide receivers?
Well, you just said it. They're like wideouts. When you flex them out, whether it's that touchdown to Kenyon down there in the red zone, when you're saying, okay, there's a linebacker matched up on him, let's see who can win this battle. We have guys that can win, on the perimeter, and they block extremely well. I was joking with Kenyon, and I said, hey, do you think Dante will throw it this week where you don't have to jump and extend, for a catch? He goes, Coach, that was really actually on me this past week. He goes, I kind of slowed down on my route, and Dante threw a perfect ball. So I said, well, maybe try doing that, on Saturday where you run full speed the whole time so I don't have to see you lay out again for another pass. But we're really lucky to have really athletic tight ends. They're super hard to cover, and we have a quarterback that can get it to them, which is great.
And the play design helps out, too. Wellstein's doing a really good job of getting guys in those mismatch situations, isn't he?
Absolutely. Yeah, our coaching staff has done a great job, Coach Stein and our offensive coaches included.
When you recruit tight ends, not that long ago, you wanted a big guy that could block, maybe catch a ball if you needed to throw it to him. Do you recruit differently? I mean, what do you look for in a tight end when you're going to, let's say, a high schooler, JC?
Yeah, we want guys that can do it all. We want guys that can do it all. A lot of times guys that have basketball skills do translate really well to tight end, but you don't want to sacrifice physicality in the C area where you have to block, and that's the hard part, right? Guys that can do both are tough to find.
Are there guys that you see in a position in the future that you go through and imagine it's going to be a 2-year development? A guy like Kenyon Sadiq, where he was, I don't want to say a freak of nature, but he's such a great athlete. Yeah. And yet he didn't have the big tight end body when he came out of high school. That's developed over time. Is there a plan that you put in place for some guys that you see them being in a position, but here's what they are right now, and here's how you have to grow them into it?
Yeah, you hope that's everybody in your program. It's about, guys being able to grow and become, best version of themselves, and then you as a coach challenge yourself to figure out how can I, make sure that I have success and put them in a position to have success. And Kenyon's certainly a great example of that. He's an unbelievable player. He was an unbelievable player when he got here, but he's only become better since his time at Oregon.
Coach, obviously potential for another home game after this, so we don't talk about that, but we do recognize Senior Day. I mean, this is the time when those guys get to come out, and we know the emotions they go through. It's special. How about you and your staff when you've seen these guys for 4 or 5 years, or even the guys who've only been a year? What's it like for you on Senior Day?
Well, there's nothing quite like it, right? It's a special moment that they get to enjoy. Opportunity to potentially step into Autzen one last time and play a football game. You remember those games as a player and as a coach. It certainly means a ton to me. The sacrifices those guys have made for our program, what standards they've helped establish and set, and what they've created here. So you want to send them off in a high note for sure. Has it felt different this week, or has it felt like the same focus for a big game? I think our guys have been able to do a good job of maintaining focus each week. I've talked to the players a lot. There's high emotions in a game like this, but it's going to be about execution, not emotion. Yeah. The emotion will be there from the Autzen crowd. I mean, this will be one of those moments when they'll get loud. How often do you hear, what do you hear from opponents or other coaches or just fans in general from outside of, let's say, the Oregon market about Autzen Stadium? Do you hear talk about it? Yeah, I mean, you got to be proud of it. I mean, our fans are unbelievable, and I think as a coach, you just hear it. We go to other places, and sometimes the crowd isn't much of an impact. Our crowd makes an impact, and it's always fun when the first play of the game starts off with a false start. That's credit to our stadium and our fans. They create some chaos for us out there on game day, and we're expecting that same thing this Saturday. You are rocking a great shirt there. Are those available somewhere? I mean, that's a great shirt. I mean, that's a shirt. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure where I got it. I imagine Kenny Farr. Oh, okay. It might be probably has something to do with it. Probably no doubt. Coach, big weekend coming up for you, senior weekend, and another opponent that give you another weekend to play after that. Whole lot of football left. Thanks for spending some time with us. We got some sponsors in here. They love seeing you and talking about some football. And I'll catch you tomorrow. We'll catch you on Saturday at Autzen Stadium and just have some fun together. Sounds great. Let's have fun. Thanks for being here. We'll be back. Joey has got Kenyon Sadi coming in, the big guy, going to tell us how he catches those balls and knocks people around. And then a little bit of his probably 2-minute life story. That's ahead on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hi, Jan from Toyota with a holiday message. Toyota-thon, Toyota-thon, Toyota-thon is on.
Dealer inventory may vary. Current offers on these vehicles end December 1st. Offers are subject to change throughout Toyota-thon, which ends on January 5th. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Toyota, let's go places.
Wherever you are in life, once a duck, always a duck. That's OCCU. Since 1956, OCCU has helped the University of Oregon community take flight financially. Like our remarkable checking and duck debit card that give duck fans more for the things they care about. More for the game, more for gear, more for a bright future. Earn interest, show your duck devotion, and start earning more today. Learn more at myoccu.org/getduckdebit.
Hi, Jan from Toyota with a holiday message. Toyota-thon, Toyota-thon, Toyota-thon is on.
Dealer inventory may vary. Current offers on these vehicles end December 1st. Offers are subject to change throughout Toyotathon, which ends on January 5th. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Toyota, let's go places.
More gridiron action in 1 minute.
I got goosebumps. I got a Harley. I got a duck and a Harley. And I got a football team. Let's play ball.
Coming your way on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
When I smoke weed, I get lost in the music. I like to isolate each instrument. The rhythmic bass, the harmonies on the piano, the sticky melody.
Hey, careful, babe. There's someone crossing the street.
Sorry, I didn't see him there.
If you feel different, you drive different. Don't drive high. It's dangerous and illegal everywhere. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
We're back. It is the Toyota Coaches Show. He is Kenyon Sadiq here in the Country Financial Studio. Now, we were discussing, Kenyon, you are a veteran of the studio. You've done the Media Day tour of the Country Financial Studio the last couple years. So I don't know if you remember, but we always do the 2-minute life story. Mm-hmm. Do you think you can get the best time you've ever done in the 2-minute life story this time around?
I mean, I give it a shot.
All right, here we go. 2-minute life story. Kenyon Sadiq. On your mark, get set, go.
All right. Growing up, small town Idaho Falls, moved around a couple different places. Ended up finishing Idaho Falls, my high school career there. Played at Skyline High School. Won 3 state titles there.
All right.
Yeah, we did a great job, so that was a lot of fun. Ultimately decided to choose Oregon. It's been a great decision between the people, the staff, everything here has been really great. So started off my freshman year here. Didn't redshirt or anything, played a lot of special teams. Sat behind a lot of great players. Sophomore year, started to get more playing time. Kind of just developing, all sorts of those things. Then now we are junior year, doing a lot better.
Boy, that was efficient. 38.22.
Oh,
okay.
Not even close to 2 minutes.
You were like a minute something last time, so you've gotten more efficient, I guess, after doing this. All right, so
I won't go too long.
3 state titles.
Yeah.
That's pretty good, Kenyon.
No, we were killing it. No, it was a lot of fun playing high school ball there.
And were you only a tight end at that point?
I was just like wide receiver. I played like very little tight end on our offense.
Right.
We didn't really use a tight end a whole lot. So no, mainly just like X and Z, just run down the field.
So I'm glad that you said that because I feel like there was this perception of like, well, he's such a pass-catching tight end, right?
Yeah.
That's always been what you've been regarded as. But how much have you changed as a player from that guy until now?
Yeah, well, my freshman year here, you could probably say I was almost just a receiver because, blocking wasn't amazing. But, no, as I kind of just developed, put more weight on, muscle on, more mass, those kind of things, the blocking kind of came along. I mean, the technique obviously took a while to learn, and I'm still learning, but now I've kind of tried to change that narrative a little bit, revolving around it.
No doubt. I mean, now I think everyone would agree, right? One of the best tight ends in the country, tight ends, right? Not just pass-catching tight ends, right? So, okay. If you go back, though, I'm curious, and think about your time that you spent on special teams. Mm-hmm. How valuable was that to your career, that special teams experience early here at Oregon?
Yeah, it's great. You get a little taste of what it's like to play. Obviously, it's different between technique. You're not necessarily playing tight end, you know what I mean? But, no, just getting the experience and getting to go against higher-level guys at such an early, start in your career I think is huge.
You also touched on learning from some other tight ends.
Mm-hmm.
Take us back. What did you take away from learning from those guys in your room?
Yeah, I mean, when I first got here, I had a lot of veteran guys, whether it was, Casey Kelly, Patrick Herbert, and, Terrence Ferguson. So all those guys, they're great. I still talk to them. And like I said, just learning so much about football and about how this college life works. No, they were awesome.
How about learning about, though, how to teach people? Because now you're teaching guys about this position. How much have you been influenced in that regard?
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's a role I've had to – I'm a pretty, introverted guy, so kind of just – branching out to the young guys in the room and young guys on the team, just kind of giving my 2 cents and my experience, from past experiences that I had to them.
Well, I asked that because let's go back and give everyone some context who's tuned in. Like, you were the guy that the coaches and the staff said, hey, let's go to Big Ten Media Day, right? So for an introverted guy like you, you're still one of the spokespeople of this program, Kenyon. Like, if I told 16-year-old Kenyon that, what would 16-year-old Kenyon think of that role that you've now taken on for this program?
Yeah, I'd probably be blown away. Because when I was 16, to be honest, I did not know I was going to play at a place like Oregon. I thought it was going to be at Idaho State or Boise State or something like that. So, having the opportunity to come to Oregon and saying that, I'd have that, this role on this team would have been crazy.
Is that taking on a leadership role one of the most difficult things you've had to go through?
Yeah, like 100%. Like, it's definitely out of my comfort zone. So there's been a lot of learning and growth moments in that area.
Well, you're good at it. I'm going to tell everybody that I've heard Kenyon give the post-practice speech a time or two, and I think you're pretty good at it, Kenyon.
I try.
I think you're pretty good at it. Okay, family growing up. I was curious. So tell us a little bit about your family growing up in Idaho.
Yeah, single mom. I have 2 other siblings, an older sister and a younger brother. They're both awesome. I love them to death. And really close with my grandparents, grandpa and grandma. Grandpa passed away 2 years ago, but grandma is still doing great. So super close with all of them. I lived with my grandparents for like 6 years before I moved up to Idaho Falls there. So, no, we're all super tight. Siblings are both doing great. My sister's at NYU going to school, and my little brother just graduated high school.
And who's the best athlete?
I would say me.
All right.
They got the brains, though.
They got the brains.
They
got the brains. Yeah. That works out. So a special relationship, though, it sounds like, with your grandparents. How has that shaped you, Kenyon?
Yeah. You're starting with my grandpa. He loves sports, biggest supporter out there. So he always knew I was capable of doing something like this. And my grandma has always just kept me humble, to be honest. I have literally on my keychain. It says "Always stay humble and kind," and it's from her. So they just really installed great values in me.
No, I'm sure then your grandpa is probably part of the answer to my next question. Is when did you first fall in love with football? Like, when did you start to be like, oh, this could be my thing?
Yeah. I was never a fan of flag football because I'd always get in trouble for hitting people. So I actually didn't really play flag football. I didn't. So I kind of transitioned to tackle football, and I think around 4th grade. I kind of just started to fall in love with it. And then my grandpa was paying me for touchdowns. So it got to a point I was like, I can't wait to play.
That's awesome.
So
that's awesome.
It was definitely early on.
So growing up in Idaho, what NFL teams did you watch? Like, who did you keep track of as a kid?
Yeah, there's usually Broncos fans and Seahawks fans, and those are the 2 you really get. I'm a Seahawks fan personally.
Okay.
My mom knows Cam Chancellor's family a little bit, or her best friend married Cam Chancellor. So.
Had a connection.
Yeah.
Had a connection. If you weren't playing football, what would you be doing?
Oh, I've recently taken a liking into real estate.
Okay.
I think I'd definitely be somewhere in that realm.
Okay. All right. So the Kenyon Sadiq real estate firm coming after a long NFL career. Okay.
Try.
Now, I want to have a little bit of fun
okay.
if you're good with that. So there's lots of discussion, and really I think it's safe to say a lot of this was sparked by a certain hurdle almost a year ago to the date now. That your athleticism is off the chart. So I have a question. Just highlights from last week. Okay, so let me qualify this. Just highlights from last week. So Kenyon, one of these, take us through it. You make a one-handed catch on a great throw. You make a diving catch, I should say, on a throw from Dante. Those of you who are watching the show, you get to see multiple angles of something that I think 99.99% of the human population could not do, which is just absolutely laying out. So what'd you see on this play?
Yeah, as soon as I got past kind of the Sam there, that look, I knew I was going to be wide open, but I didn't realize it was going to be that wide open. So I kind of started to throttle down, and that's what caused the throw to be overthrown. So people kind of criticizing Dante, but it was more of me because I kind of throttled in the zone, and he just threw a good ball, so I kind of had to speed up for it. So.
Well, he was just talking today. I got to tell you, I don't know if you heard him say this. He was just talking today, when Kenyon's running 23 miles an hour, I got to get some air under it. So
yeah, that's on me.
Oh, okay, well, all right. So now then, the question becomes, you also made, as I alluded to, a one-handed catch in this game. So, a one-handed catch is difficult. I'm just going to say this, Kenny. I think it's particularly difficult when someone is holding you and your other arm. That's just my thought on the play. Which one of these is more difficult?
I'm going to say that one, the second one here.
Okay.
one being the ball kind of already thrown before I kind of had my head turned, so it's
Okay.
kind of an adjustment. And then two, yeah, you said the guy kind of being in contact definitely makes it a more contested catch.
Yeah, again, things that 99.99% of the human population cannot do. Kenyon Sadiq is our guest, and I'm curious now because Georgie and I were talking about this. When you lay out for a ball like that, Kenyon, like, what goes through your mind? Are you like, just get the ball? Is it, ball security as I tuck and roll? How do you even mentally process that in the moment?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. Like, one, go get the ball, and then two, like, you want to try and roll your shoulder as you're coming to the ground to avoid any, collision, to fumble the ball or anything like that. But it's mainly just like, see ball, get ball.
See, Georgie, he thinks about all of it. He thinks about all of it. All right, we're going to get a timeout. We're going to come back, talk a little bit more about the tight end group, some keys ahead. Kenyon Sadiq with us on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Wherever you are in life, once a duck, always a duck. That's OCCU. Since 1956, OCCU has helped the University of Oregon community take flight financially, like our remarkable checking and duck debit card that give Duck fans more for the things they care about, more for the game, more for gear, more for a bright future. Earn interest, show your Duck devotion, and start earning more today. Learn more at myoccu.org/getduckdebit.
There's more Duck football around the corner.
Oh, what a rush. It is just never gets old.
60 seconds away on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
You wanted to be cool, which led you to smoking, which led to a pack a day. Then you met that special someone, which led to starting a life with them, which led to wanting to live longer, which led to quitting. Then you heard you may be at risk for lung cancer, which led you to getting a low-dose CT scan. If you smoked, get scanned. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
When your car is making a strange noise, no matter what it is, you can't just pretend it's not happening.
That's an interesting sound.
It's like your mental health. If you're struggling and feeling overwhelmed, it's important to do something about it. It can be as simple as talking to someone or just taking a deep, calming breath to ground yourself. Because once you start to address the problem, you can go so much further. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org.
Kenyon Sadiq, our guest, as we welcome you back inside the Country Financial Studio. It's the Toyota Coaches Show. When you hear that song now, what do you think of?
Oh, that's why I start to smile every time because I just think of the shout and stuff, and it's a lot of fun. So no, I'm excited.
Yeah, shout it probably has a special place, I'm sure, in every Duck fan's heart. But I'm curious for you, like, what's that experience been like from day one, maybe when you experienced it for the first time until now?
Yeah, it's crazy. Every time it's a little bit different, depending on the atmosphere. Now every time it's college game day, I remember like the Ohio State game.
Yeah.
Indiana, those games are electric. But no, it's a crazy, awesome tradition.
Do you have are those some of, I should say, maybe your favorite memories so far in your career?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Kenyon Sadiq with us. I'm going to ask you a little bit about what it's like playing for Coach Lanning.
Mm-hmm.
Now that you've spent so much time with him, and again, as one of the leaders of this team, what's it like playing for Coach Lanning?
Yeah, he's a coach for the players. The amount of feedback he takes from us on how to critique himself, and the plan we go throughout each week, has changed so much. So, no, he's an awesome coach, and he's a guy that you can relate to, and he's going to find ways to relate to you, which is awesome as a player.
Well, on that note, I always like to ask people like yourself that do this interview on the show, give the recruiting pitch if you could. Like someone who's like, maybe I'll go to Oregon, or I'm a young player. Oh, I don't know. Is Oregon for me? What's the recruiting pitch right now after you've experienced it here?
Yeah. One, you're going to get developed if you come here. Two, you have a really good chance to play early. I think this year's a great example of that. The amount of freshmen we're playing this year is the most he's probably played in his career coaching. So no, I think those two things are big. And then just the environment and the family you have here within the coaching staff, within the team, within the training staff. Like, they're all just amazing people. And I think I'm firsthand of that development that you see from when I came in to where I'm at now. So the staff does a great job of developing you, one, on and off the field, and I'm just making you a better person.
You mentioned, too, the coaches. I got to ask you about your position coach then. Drew Maringer. What's it like playing for Coach Maringer?
Yeah, no, Maringer's awesome. I couldn't say a single, bad thing about him. He's helped me so much. So whether it's, like I said, off the field, on the field, whatever I need, he'll be there with, by phone call. So, no, shout out to him for everything.
And then the entire tight end room now. Let's give us the breakdown as the guy who's been around the block now once or twice, Kenyon.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the tight end room like?
Yeah, it's awesome. It's a group of guys that always get along, and it's a group of guys like, the tight end position, you kind of have to be, willing to do a lot of things. So I think everyone in our room is willing to do that, and I think we work together really well, and I think people are starting to see that the more 12 packages, 13 packages we get into.
I've said this before that I think in football in general, the tight end position has perhaps changed more than any other position in the last. So you agree? It sounds like as someone who's gone through it, like, and with that in mind, for a young tight end, like someone who's in high school right now, thinking, okay, maybe tight end could be my thing. What advice do you give them? Like, what should they be working on to be a good tight end when they're your age?
Yeah, I think one is just being willing to do anything, like I kind of mentioned earlier. A tight end's going to get thrown around, whether it's a split zone play or, blocking on the perimeter or in pass pro or running a deep ball. It's all those things being a tight end now. You don't just do one thing. So, one, just be versatile. Learn how to understand a concept and not just what you're doing on the play. Because as a tight end, you're going to get moved from, wide out to fullback to whatever it is, whatever they need. So I think the biggest thing is just being versatile and not making yourself one-dimensional.
All right, now the hard-hitting questions.
Yeah.
You've been a part of some uniform shoots. You've done them over the years. Do you have favorite uniforms so far in your Oregon career?
Yeah, we were talking about this the other day. I think obviously the retro, like my first year I was here, those are awesome. Then one I really like was the Michigan game last year.
Yep.
The chrome and the all white. I love those ones. And then, I could probably say about every game, to be honest. Now I was thinking about it. I was like, I like this. But those two are definitely up there.
And you've gone through the uniform shoots. Like, you've been part of some various things. So for those that are like, wait, how does this all come to fruition, Kenny? Like, I'm curious, like, what's that like for you? What's it like for the person inside the helmet going through something like that?
Yeah, honestly, it's like a bit awkward because you just like put it on and people are just taking pictures and you're just like kind of like fake yelling. There's like no one around. The pictures look great, but in the moment it's a bit awkward for sure.
But you go through the process, and they do turn out great. Every Wednesday night before the coaches show, right? We get to see the uniforms. All right, some keys ahead for you, Kenyon. What's it going to take for the Ducks to be successful the rest of the way?
Yeah, I think it's about just eliminating mistakes and then playing as a team and just kind of like a next play mentality. One, I think we're physical, and I think that's a separator for us. And I think offensively, our run game has shown that, and even defensively, they've done a great job of stopping the run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was just going to say, I mean, you've talked about like the physical nature of the team and the development of the team. That's something that it sounds like everyone seems to take a lot of pride in that at this point.
Yeah, 100%. I think if you go out there and watch a practice, whether it's Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever it is, you'll see the physicality. And I bet there's not a lot of teams doing that. And I think it's a separator.
Yeah, and it helps, too, when you go to practice and you can hear the speakers from across the river. Right? How much has that actually helped, though, Kenyon, this year, like when you guys have gone into these different environments?
Yeah, I mean, it's huge. Like being able to replicate or even just the smallest chance of replicating something like that gives us an advantage. I mean, like Penn State, they had about like 12 speakers around us in our huddle preparation for that week, and I think it helped. I think our O-line had 0 penalties. I think it was actually both the tight ends.
Right. Well, I was going to talk about that. All right.
Oops.
Now, so I always ask defensive linemen if offensive linemen hold on every play. So now I want to ask you, as somebody who has to block and someone who goes out and catches passes, do you get interfered with more when you're going out to catch a pass, like a pass interference, or when you're blocking and something that a defender does try to stop you from blocking where you want to go?
I would definitely probably say blocking.
Really?
Yeah, definitely like this area where edges have a little bit more leeway with like snagging and using their hands, those type of things. So I definitely say in those situations, yeah, if you don't get good technique or whatever it is, you're probably gonna get snagged.
All right, we got into a lot of the nitty gritty. I want to leave you with this one, Kenny. I mean, it's senior weekend. A lot of guys that have been through the program like you, and just so many different things with a big game like this. Zoom out for us. If you could give yourself a piece of advice to 17-year-old you, I think I've probably asked you this before, and I'm curious if it's changed. What would your advice be for 17-year-old Kenyon?
Yeah. One, I would just say always just be humble, know where you come from, and then two, just like always just keep working. I mean, no matter what it looks like, no matter good times, bad times, just keep going because at the end of the day, some light will break through, and it'll all work out in the end.
He's Kenyon Sadiq. Kenyon, thanks for being here tonight. Appreciate it.
Yep,
Kenyon Sadiq and the Ducks, a 12:30 kickoff against USC at Autzen Stadium. All right, we're going to get timeout, come back, get you ready for Ducks and Trojans on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hi, Jan from Toyota with a holiday message. Toyota-thon, Toyota-thon, Toyota-thon is on.
Dealer inventory may vary. Current offers on these vehicles end December 1st. Offers are subject to change throughout Toyota-thon, which ends on January 5th. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hi, Jan from Toyota with a holiday message. Toyota-thon, Toyota-thon, Toyota-thon is on.
Dealer inventory may vary. Current offers on these vehicles end December 1st. Offers are subject to change throughout Toyota-thon, which ends on January 5th. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Toyota, let's go places.
Your home for Duck football.
When you take it up to this level with 55,000 people, a motorcycle, and a jacked-up crowd, you just can't beat it.
The Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
You say you'd never give in to a meltdown and never fill your feed with kid photos. You say you'd never put a pacifier in your mouth to clean it and never let them run wild through the grocery store. So when you say you'd never let them get into a car without you there, no, it can happen. 1 in 4 hot car deaths happen when a kid gets into an unlocked car and can't get out. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Let's take a moment to breathe. Deep inhale. Extend your spine. Remain focused on what you're doing. If safe to do so, exhale slowly, leaning to one side. Inhale back to center. If safe to do so, exhale slowly to the opposite side. Find mental health resources at loveyourmindtoday.org. This message is brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
Welcome back inside the Country Financial Studio. Jerry Allen and Jorgie and Joey Mac. Great interview with Kenyon. Kenyon,
he's great,
dude.
He is, isn't he?
He's great.
Yeah,
on the field and off the field.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to not see him playing in a Duck uniform, but I am really looking forward to seeing him playing in the NFL.
Yeah. And how about that? He wants to get into real estate. Love it. After a long NFL career.
Gotta be.
That?
Gotta be. Yeah.
How about that?
Big game coming up. I mean, everyone, it's interesting this year, and most coaches are like this too, but Coach Lanning is really bought in. You've done interviews, you get on the radio, and they say, what about this game and this game? I'm sorry I don't see past this week. There's only 2 games left in the regular season, and they're each like a playoff game, right? I mean,
yeah,
you got to say
absolutely
they are.
Yeah, I mean they're 2 tough opponents is what it's going to be. One on the road, one at home, and the one this weekend. I just think the crowd is going to be lit for USC coming in. It's a 12:30 midday game. It's competition, great competition to be 2 high-quality teams going against each other. It's USC. I mean, there's enough people around to remember what USC has always been, and they're fighting back to be that direction. They're getting better and better. They've got athletes. They're tough. Just that name brand that goes with it. I can't wait, Jerry, for this weekend. Joey, what about you? I mean, it is one of those type of games where, to me, it's going to be loud and off the charts.
I agree. I mean, anytime the nation takes notice, right, with ESPN's College Game Day being here, they'll be set up on the Memorial Quad again. I hope that everyone realizes what a valuable moment that is for the entire university, right? It's just a window into what things are like when you're around the University of Oregon. I think we all agree, having been around here, it's a special place, and this is just one example of that. However, that being said, 12:30 kick, that means it's not as long of a day for the students that spend the whole night getting ready for College Game Day. Then College Game Day occurs, you get a little breakfast in you, and you walk across the river to Autzen, you're ready to go. I think a 12:30 kick bodes well.
You are too close to being one of those students in the past to remember all that, because you rolled that out like I've been there.
It's like a timeline, right? He knows the timeline.
I still remember the first time that ESPN College Game Day was in Eugene, and when I was a student, I remember that. It was for a 7 o'clock game.
Oh.
It was a little different.
Yeah.
For a 7 o'clock game.
And you remember it. That's what's amazing.
I do remember it. I do remember it when I was a freshman. Hamilton Hall.
Did you get a nap in?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, you mentioned it's the window by which the nation sees. Or it's a 3-hour commercial.
It is.
Which is you can't buy that.
And the duck is great. I mean, let's be honest. Part of what makes it so special is Oregon's brand, the uniforms, right? That are so special, and everybody wants to see it. And the duck, just the shenanigans of it. I mean, to me, this is what college football and the community that comes with it. This is a great example of what it can mean, and that leads to a great crowd and a great environment, like you're talking about, right, Jorgie? And I agree. I mean, this is, though, talking about this particular matchup. It's two premier brands on the West Coast, and it's two teams that do recruit against each other a lot, like call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
Also, it's two teams that have had seasons spoiled by the other once or twice, at least in recent memory, and it's a big one.
Two teams slain for a playoff.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of history between Oregon and USC. You go back a ways, and it used to be just USC, and then Oregon got in there, and then lately it's been just Oregon. And so, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of history, and a lot of the fans who are in Autzen Stadium remember those games. It's gonna be
I remember them.
Yeah, no, it's
all of them.
Yeah, for USC, it's a huge game because it's definitely one they have to win in their mind if they want to. Or for Oregon, same thing. They have to win it. You can't go into this thinking we got any margin for error. You just don't. 12:30 kickoff, 10:30 pregame show. A lot of interviews, a lot of stuff going on. Game day in town. Second time in the same season.
Yep.
That doesn't happen very often.
Doesn't happen very often.
Never happened. Well, we didn't talk about our keys to the game, so we'll do that on Friday. Picks?
Run the ball.
Oh,
Run the
come
ball.
on. No, we're going to wait to do that until Friday. Okay. Take it back.
Okay, I'll take it back.
Okay. Oh, my God bless.
The phone on D&D, that means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always sing with me. So put your phone on D&D, that means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need